If you were to move to a Spanish-speaking country after about 1,000 to 1,500 hours of comprehensible input, how would you structure your year to ensure you maximize that exposure and immersion opportunity of being in another country?
For Spanish, that's probably enough input that I would just switch to output as much as possible. So I would practice output in the home, and then I would also practice output out and about when I'm talking to people.
I'll also say I basically did this. This is sort of why I got this. Like I moved to Mexico at about 15, probably a little more, 100 hours of input with some output as well. But yeah, I would definitely say practice output and then go to inherently social events where there are a lot of Spanish speakers and just be there and try to make friends, be excited. It's been really, really helpful to do things like that. I have a couple of different activities that I do a couple times a week where I go and it's primarily Spanish speakers and I'm there and we chat, we have conversations. I learn words. It's a really good way to surround yourself with the language if you have that opportunity and you're already pretty good at the language. I see a humongous difference between how I interact with them versus how some of the other Americans that come in that interact with them. There's one that actually works for, I think, the consulate. And he very frequently just speaks in English. He understands okay in Spanish, but it's mostly like, oh, what does this word mean? What does this word mean? Versus like actually having a conversation because he frequently can't put his thoughts into Spanish. And so he just switches right back to English. However, that's not the end of the world if you really just can't output and you want to like have crosstalk. You can find people to do that with as well as you're building up your abilities to output. But yeah, my suggestion would be to find groups of people that can do activities together, whether it's playing board games, doing dance classes, cooking lessons, whatever it is, and just try to engage with the people there and take advantage of that being away and try not to have any English-speaking friends. Avoid them.
Yeah. I would generally say anytime you're going through a major transition in the language, whether that's reading to listening or listening to speaking, focus on managing the transition. In this case, moving to another country, focus on managing that transition in terms of making sure that you're building a social circle for yourself, doing things that you enjoy, making friends. And for the output side of things, making sure that you are practicing output on a regular basis. And then once you've made it through that transition, you are feeling more comfortable in that, then you can start to integrate more of the study stuff back in. But when you move to the country, the studying aspect is just not that important when you first get there. It's much more important to just like establish a network, establish a home for yourself. And then when you start bumping up against things that are challenging for you, then you can integrate the studying back in and you know, whether that's input or whether that's grammar study or writing or whatever else. But really, you know, focus on managing the transition well.
Hey, as you know, there's a lot of language learning advice out there, which can make it kind of overwhelming and difficult to actually get going on your own learning. If you feel like you're struggling to figure out language learning, you're not alone. It's an extremely complicated process with tons of different steps. If you're looking for a step-by-step guide to create the perfect language learning routine for you, then you have to check out our new course. We spent thousands of hours designing a simple and straightforward process that you can use to create your own personalized language routine that actually works. We understand that every learner is different and that you have to roll with the punches and adapt. Every day for 30 days, I walk you through everything you need to know to build an effective learning routine, no matter your circumstances. We give you the advice and resources you need to ensure your success, so you don't have to waste time looking for stuff to do and can focus on learning. And if any questions do come up, don't worry. We are always there to answer any questions and clear up confusion. And it's all backed by our 90-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If, for whatever reason, something's not quite working for you, we insist you get every penny back. It's time for you to stop wishing that you could learn a second language. It's time to become the master of your language learning journey. Check out the link below to get instant access and start your journey today.